who are you consuming right now? I would say the person I'm probably consuming the most of is probably Jack Conte, CEO of Patreon. But yeah, who would you say you're consuming the most of right now?
I would say Andrew Tate. He's works with Entrepreneur
Facts.
Cars. Yeah,
That's my
Andrew
guy.
Tate's
Yeah.
big. And his brother Tristan.
Yeah.
And it's the thing that a lot of people can't understand, especially in today's day, is just I don't have to agree with every little thing you say, but if you say information that's correct, I need to take from that. Like I
Facts.
hate when we got to cancel this guy because he said that. If it's bad, it's bad, true. But if he said 2 + 2 is 4, it's still 4. Like I
Facts.
want to hear that information. So, like a lot of people disagree with that statement, I guess, but
Mm.
that's just how I think. So Andrew Tate, Tristan Tate, Entrepreneurs in Cars, Alex
Mm.
Hormozy, huge dude. Like he's really on there. He's like probably number one who I'm listening to the most right now. Let's see. I still watch Gary V's. I got the message from him from
Yeah.
years watching. He's gave me some of the greatest advice ever. But
Yeah.
Gary V still.
Speaking of Gary V,
Yeah.
what are your thoughts on NFTs?
So NFT. So the hardest part, crypto, NFTs, metaverse, has been one of the hardest things I've ever studied. Stocks, I read probably easily hundreds of books, and I just instantly, all right, now I understand investing. Just not that I'm super successful at it. I'm a buy and hold person, but it was easy to understand what they meant. Crypto, metaverse, and all that, and NFTs. It's so like speculative right now that you can't really. You don't have any like definitive thing on like will it be successful, will it not? But I will say, so NFTs as far as that, I can see it being digital art. I can see. So this is what actually came with the other day. I forget who I was watching. It was a DJ Academics interview with Vlad, and he
Yeah, I watched
explained
it.
like
Yeah.
with NFTs, and he said something about the metaverse, and then it got me thinking. What if we get into the world where our social media, like picture a video game, but it's a video game, but you have our social media becomes a digital like video game everyone's in. Everyone has an avatar, everyone has houses on there, and it almost can be like based on what you own in the digital world, that almost reflects your real life income. So I know like Snoop Dogg built his house in the metaverse. He's gonna have a house that only a Snoop Dogg could afford in the metaverse or digital land. And I'm still not super familiar with it, but I can definitely understand the digital art piece. This person owns this and we can see it. So as far as that, I think it can definitely be successful. But I'd say right now, it's all speculative. It's all what you can buy now that will sell tomorrow. But as far as future, I could see it being a part of the next what social media is today.
Non-fungible token is what a NFT is for those who don't know. But as you kind of alluded to, it's like buying something that has value, but not right now, really. But you'll sell it. It's kind of like you go to the store, you buy Apple, and instead of receipt, they give you an NFT. And because you bought an Apple at that day, at that time, at that store, that receipt or that NFT can be sold later because of that. It's like a weird. It doesn't exist now, but it exists later, or it's not valuable now. It'll be valuable later. Um, and it falls in the same category as social media does for our grandparents. You're like, y'all doing what? Y'all got touchscreen phones doing what with it? Face, y'all poking people? What is that? Commenting, subscribing? What are y'all doing on there, man? Like, put those screens down, go outside and play. It falls in the same category, and it's why I'm also studying it now. Because I was listening to Jack Conte, he was like, we are becoming our parents and our grandparents because of something we don't understand fully. And it could be scandalous, it could be dusty, it could be worth nothing, and just people just wasting money. But until we truly work to understand it and discover whether or not it's valuable or not, or whether or not it's the future or not, we are just the skeptic sitting in the corner, puffing on a pipe, saying, "Oh, that no, that ain't nothing." I'm like, you're literally walking past real estate for sale where the future Disneyland will be built on. Will you buy that land, or will we just walk past it and say, "No, no, it ain't worth nothing. It's just Disney Road, Disney Street over there." I'm like, no, it's literally the future. It's why I tell people, like, bro, content. Like, if you're building a business, there should be internet content to capture the business because that's where the eyeballs are at. They're not on billboards, even though billboards do work. There's a lady that I work with at the gym, and she works at a newspaper. Newspapers are still around. Radio stations are still around, but podcasting, YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, like that is the current marketplace. And so a lot of people are trying to build a business on MySpace. I'm like, listen, it don't work, bruh.
Mm. You
Blockbuster,
gotta
they're
go.
at home for a reason. So,
Yep.
yeah, NFTs are definitely a thing. At least from what I'm studying now, I'm still looking further into it. Apparently Gary Vee made 90 million off it already. I'm like, he different. He different. And of course, he does have more or less a cult following.
Yes.
I think kind of like where Kobe's cult, and I'll say Kobe's the goat in my emotions, knowing he's probably not the goat in terms of his full body of work. He probably's not the goat, but in my world, in my view, yeah, it's Kobe. But
I always
yeah,
get two lists. It's MJ, and then you have all like, oh, the debate, oh, LeBron or this person, and then it's like personally it's MJ, Kobe, LeBron. But the real list is, like you said, it's going to be on this whole body of work.
yeah,
And I will say too, that's the mindset I'm trying to keep with NFTs and crypto and the metaverse. Crypto is easy to understand.
yeah.
I definitely invested in that heavy, but um, understanding that I'm thinking how my grandparents were thinking with social media, with the internet,
Yeah.
like, oh no, I can't be, because even Gary Vee has said multiple times, people thought the internet was a fad. Like, and
Mm,
now you look at it, it's like you thought the internet was a fad, one of the
right.
easily probably number one, the greatest human invention ever.
Facts.
Like, it's just like keep that mindset for studying those, because it's so hard to understand. But
Mm,
20, 30 years from now, you don't want to be the person who like, yeah, I could have bought that. I saw it
yeah.
every day, but I just didn't want to study and learn it. So
And the cool thing is that at some point it's going to be simplified, where kind of like Apple, you see 50-year-olds with iPhones, and you see 10-year-olds with iPhones. Apple made what was once very complex and like this, what the BlackBerry, what the hell y'all doing with the BlackBerry, to
mhm.
where now everyone walks around with a touchscreen computer in their pocket at all ages, and it's literally one of the most popular, most valuable brands in the world, because one company took the NFT complexity of the iPhone or the smartphone, and they said we're going to make it very simple and consistent for all age groups. That's coming at some point, and most people won't be able to recognize it because they'll just be sitting in the back saying, "No, that ain't no thing. That's not real. I use my dollars and my quarters and my nickels and my dimes to buy stuff." I'm like, cool, you're welcome to, and, like, nobody's telling you not to go read the newspaper. They still make newspapers. You get them delivered to your door. But if you want information today about something that happened today or something that happened an hour ago, you can't get it in a newspaper. They don't go to the printing press until midnight, bruh. You won't get the information. You'll be late. So that's definitely a thing. And there's a level of humility that's required to admit I don't understand what's happening right now. I don't understand the current landscape of NFTs or cryptocurrencies. I'm like, I know I've heard of Bitcoin, but I don't know what it truly means to invest in that, and how it correlates to the actual dollar or the value of gold or silver. Um, you have to ask questions, and of course, there are a lot of scam artists out there willing to sell you a course to help you understand it. But of course, YouTube, you can Google anything, and that's a lot of the issues. Like, people don't realize, because of the internet, you can Google anything, even things that don't exist yet. You can
Mhm.
Google it. There's leaks about the next iPhone, the next Galaxy. There's leaks. There's speculation. There's, yeah, this doesn't exist yet, but it's gonna be the flying car, the flying Tesla. There's stuff. The Apple car is coming for some reason. So yeah, a lot of people have to be humble enough to admit, all right, I don't understand this. I need to go study. And not everyone's as neurotic as us. Just, I gotta understand. I gotta understand. I'm gonna read 100 books. All right, that's not enough. Internet and 100 and podcasts, and go study and dig. But of course, we pride ourselves on not being ignorant,
Yeah.
and that's often why our results speak differently, and the way we're able to talk on certain subjects is because our ability to study it and willingness to study.